Welcome back, barbarians, to another Destiny 2 video. This is a video about the newish Forgiveness sidearm. And let me tell you, this thing, it's okay. It's not the best sidearm, in my opinion. It's not the worst. We've got polygonal rifling, ricochet rounds, demolitionist, multi-kill clip, or adrenaline junkie. And these are the this is the perk pool, which you can get for this weapon. I have a quote-unquote god roll, but there are some other things you can go after, such as moving target. Yeah, I guess just moving target. Not too many options. I would say this roll that I have, demolitionist and adrenaline junkie, really more geared towards PvE. But just talking PvP viability, it's an aggressive frame, 2 burst. So, in my opinion, it doesn't quite cut it for the crucible and the sandbox the way it's at. Yes, the sidearms are very strong if, and only if, you're hitting your shots. And I know that sounds like, oh, of course, if you just hit your shots, your TTK is always optimal. However, if we're comparing it to single shot sidearms like the Boudica-C or Drang, two very good choices for that archetype of sidearm. Or if we look at 3 burst sidearms, which 3 burst sidearms, the nice thing is it allows you to miss one of those bursts or start bodying, and then the rest of the hits in that burst round hit the head. With the 2 bursts, you don't quite get that flexibility or nimbleness that you get with the single shot sidearms. So I think in that aspect it's lacking. I think something I like to compare it to is hand cannons versus pulses, single shot versus triple or quad, but then you take something like Warden's Law hand cannon, which is a 2 burst, and it just didn't quite meet the mark there. Or Revision 0, a little bit unique because that pulse is just godly. That pulse is top tier. Having said that, though, I was playing around with this thing for quite a bit in Crucible. I managed to get, a couple different clips that I could throw together of utilizing this thing. And considering I don't typically play with sidearms, I think I need to get used to it a little bit more. In this video, I paired it with the La La Land, the auto rifle, which mine is pretty much a god roll in my opinion. We've got demolitionist and target lock, and then I think a handling or stability masterwork, I don't recall. But anyways, pairing it with the forgiveness adept. Now the nice thing, of course, it being adept, if you do get that roll from the flawless pool, is you can slot it with those adept mods. Yeah, overall I would say the nice thing about the sidearm, it being a 2 burst, its range is really sticky at range. And I know the term sticky usually gets associated with its ability to gravitate towards the dome or the body. However, stickiness in terms of range, it really feels like it's putting out damage at a range you expect it to, which is very nice when utilizing this sidearm. Having demolitionist, adrenaline junkie, one of my favorite combos in PvE, and that's where I think I would use this roll more, to be honest, but this is the one I got, so this is the one I'm using. I could use multi-kill clip, absolutely, for PvP, and that could be much more viable, especially in 6s. However, I like to run more grenade-focused builds, so for me, this one's going to make a little bit more sense, but just keep that in mind as you're farming it. I don't think this is a make-or-break weapon. I don't think you need it going into Lightfall. I don't think you need it in Season 19. It's just nice to have. So if you're doing bounties, just grinding, trying to get a roll on this, I would get it. However, it's not the end of the world if you do not. Having said that, it's nice to have an aggressive frame, a 2 burst sidearm in the vault just in case, because we never really know what Bungie's going to do to the meta as it changes season to season. And the stats on the sidearm are pretty solid overall. It's something I wasn't getting used to, and it would take some time for you to get used to, is its range. It does have really good range, and it's something I wasn't used to on a sidearm, because I typically use single shot sidearms like Drang. So it's just something that my playstyle didn't really revolve around. And I think pre-hunter nerf, this sidearm would pair really nicely with stompies. But it having demolitionist and adrenaline junkie, I think something like frosties for an exotic on the hunters, armamentarium on the titans. I'm using it with dune marchers because that's just my go-to exotic for titans, really. Anytime I'm playing titan, could be a good with Ophidian aspects in terms of swapping, hot swapping with the warlock. And then as far as like weapons to pair with it, scout definitely a viable option, or pulse. You could certainly do a hand cannon, and you can also get away, especially in competitive or trials, using a sniper and sidearm. You get a body shot, and this thing does 45 damage to the head. That's 90 in total, with your typical 90 round per minute sniper doing 131 to the body. Easy, tag them in the body, switch to it, get the headshots, and it's a kill. Pretty easy to do in terms of dropping somebody pretty quick. Now the adept version, of course, is from the flawless pool, or the flawless chest at the lighthouse. But you can grind for it just by getting it from Saint 14 as a vendor through the bounties as well. So I know we only have one more day after this posting to go for it, but I just wanted to make this video to go over this weapon because it's currently one of the more used sidearms that I'm seeing in the Crucible that I'm playing against. And I was kind of wondering why it was being used so much. I still don't really know. I think it's new-ish, so people are still liking it, which is fair. But for me, it's not something I'm going to keep in my rotation. But let me know what you are going to do in the comments below. See you guys in the next one. Thanks.
I could not ask for a better